So apparently, I am now dead to Nick Fuentes. He says he will never help me again, and he says that no one else should help me either. This is because I privately DM'd him, asking for clarification on his stance on birthright citizenship. A clip was going around where he seemed to endorse birthright citizenship.
And by the way, I don't care what color you are. I know maybe that's going to be controversial on my side. But seriously, if you have citizenship, if you were born in this country, this is your birthright. This is our lives. This is our rights. This is our heritage. It's our tax dollars. It's our government. It's our military. This is our country. This is our empire.
Now, I knew that his stance in the past has been against that policy. I was actually in conversation with a much larger user on X in DMs, and he was attacking Nick. I was defending Nick, saying, I don't think Nick is changing his position. This is actually consistent with what he said in the past. But I wanted clarification from Nick before I defended him publicly. I told Nick in DMs that I wanted to defend him publicly as long as I knew that we were on good terms, and I got clarification on that point. It's not a ridiculous question. Catholic social teaching is that wealthier nations have an obligation to accept immigrants from poorer nations. They are also against breaking up families in almost any case. So, if you have someone who was born in the country, two illegal immigrants, they've been here for 30 years, they have lots of friends and family in the country, the Catholic Church's position would be that that person should be able to stay. So if Nick is consistent with Catholic social teaching in cases like that, he should accept some kind of birthright for a person born here. I didn't know if maybe he had slightly shifted his position to be more consistent with Catholic social teaching. It's possible. So I asked him that question, and he responded with this.
Really? And so everybody that did that is dead to me. So I saw Devin Stack say that. I saw Asha Logo say that. Eric Arval is DMing me saying, are you against birthright citizenship in DMs? Really? How are you going to be pro-white? You're not even going to support me. How are you for all white people and, ecumenical pro-white politics? You're going to throw me under the bus? I'm not being attacked by enough people. I'm being attacked by literally everybody. I'm being attacked by Mark Levin. I even told Tucker to his face. I said, we have to be pro-white. I said those words. I said, we need to be pro-white. We need to talk about white people. I am pro-white. And the so-called white nationalist crew, rather than circling the wagons to defend me and what I thought, even after I was nice to Arval, even after I had him or I went on his show, they're taking the piss. They're gonna ankle bite. They're gonna try to score a point. No, I'm not in favor of fucking. If I say you're a citizen, I'm talking about, obviously, we should not be afraid to say that we're citizens, we're Americans. It goes without saying that birthright citizenship is not legitimate. That should go without saying. Should we have to put an asterisk there? When I say citizens, I mean, people that are actually citizens, not, you know what I mean by that. So that was really disappointing and really sad and really pathetic. And I'm disappointed how few of them defended me. Not a peep out of, did I get a peep out of any of these guys? I've defended many of them. Any of them defend me? I don't want to name certain names, but holy smokes, it's really sad. This is why I never liked a lot of them. I never got along with them because they're resentful. They're resentful and spiteful. It's not what they believe. I came out of that milieu on right-wing Twitter, but it's a tall poppy syndrome. It's like someone succeeds, someone starts to make an impact, and then they want to cut that person down and just say, oh, well, So that was a totally dishonest reading. I mean, literally, and I'll just say it once more. The clip on Friday, which I'm referring to, I said, if you're born in America, this is your birthright. We're citizens. This is our country. And they said, oh, so he supports birthright citizenship now. It's like, that is such a dishonest, like, talk about a semantic, trivial little thing. So dishonest. Rather than see the bigger picture and give me the benefit of the fucking doubt, if ever there was a person or a time to do that and circle the wagons and say, he's right, this is about America first. Nope. Zoomer historian was another one. No, let's dunk. Let's dunk on him because that's really helpful. That's productive. We need to take down Nick Fuentes so that some other guy can go on a generational run and, we'll wait for some other person to get influence and impact and get a platform, someone who deserves it. Fuck you. You're dead to me. All those people that did that, fuck you. I will never help you. No one should ever help them either because that's how it's repaid, clearly. And I feel that way about other people that I won't mention, and I don't hate all of them, but I'm never going to help them again for that reason.
This, I think, is because a lot of other people were attacking him publicly, and maybe it was uncharitable interpretation. I didn't attack him publicly. I asked privately, hey, what do you mean by this? I want to defend you, but, please clarify this first. So right now, I have built up, as far as I'm aware, the largest pro-white membership organization in the US. I've built a pro-white intentional community where there are multiple families. Kids are being raised right now in a pro-white environment. I have sacrificed my well-being and safety to do this. I'm taking a huge risk. If, we are ultimately sued or shut down, all of my resources have been invested in this. I am dedicated to the cause because I love my race and people, and I will do whatever it takes to benefit my race and people. And that has included supporting what Nick has done over the years, even when he's said demeaning things about white people, and even when I've disagreed with many things he has said. Still, I have supported him. Recently, I think this is really what it's actually about. Recently, 2 weeks ago, I levied a criticism on his infiltrate the institution strategy. Once again, a clip was going around where he said that young guys should go to Harvard and Yale and infiltrate the institutions like the CIA, the bureaucracy in Washington, so that one day they'll be in a position where we can get top-down political change. Now, tongue-in-cheek, as a joke, which was clearly the case, I replied to that clip, hey guys, let's all be feds, in quotes. Because that's kind of what he was saying, and I thought it was funny. Okay, please be able to take a joke. It's okay to joke around and criticize one another, even if we're on the same side and we do support one another. So I asked him also in DMs, hey, did you think that was beyond the pale? I was joking. But anyway, I then went on to clarify that my position is we can achieve something through infiltration, but we have to be organized first. The Jews were able to do it. The Mormons are able to do it because they have outside institutions. They're not just sending their guys in there unorganized without any real grounding. We could do that. This is the same exact disagreement that led to our first beef more than a year ago now. I visited him in Chicago, or about a year ago. I visited him to pitch this concept that in order to get our guys in elite positions, we need to give them the best possible groundwork. He was interested in working with me on some kind of school because at the time he felt that he was losing really high IQ people to, Zionists, the Bapsphere, stuff like that. And so, me as a traditional Platonist with a different kind of philosophical system that is coherent, he respected me as a philosopher. He wanted to work with me on a school. So my pitch, though, was that we need a year set aside for recent high school graduates where they learn all the relevant facts in a detailed way, not just clips and memes in the way we receive it often in social media, but data-driven, intensive knowledge of crime statistics, racial differences, but also Western history, the classics, the best that we could get. And it would have the added advantage of allowing people to self-study in preparation for whatever they were going to go into in university. Seems to me still that this is the best way to assist any kind of elite-driven action. Our adversaries do things like that. They have their own schools, they have their own networks, they don't just enter into the institutions disorganized. That's my criticism. It was my criticism then. It's still my criticism now. And we shouldn't believe that Nick's approach is automatically right because he has a large following. Just because someone gets a lot of followers on social media doesn't mean that their political strategy will be effective or that it's even possible in light of the nature of existing institutions. If the numbers indicated that you were right, then we should trust anything that Tristan Tate says above what Nick Fuentes says. We should trust Asmongold as our leader because he has the most followers, or PewDiePie, or whatever, or Kim Kardashian for that matter. Okay, the fact that you have grown a big following as a pundit, he's a very talented news anchor and commentator. Of course, I've said many times, I respect his abilities and I've learned from him on a variety of topics. But the fact that he's good at that doesn't mean that his proposed political strategy, which affects all of us, it's not like this is just him doing his own thing. If he's recruiting our best and brightest and telling them, go join the establishment, and then that results, because they're disorganized, in a large number of them either getting themselves blacklisted and doxxed because they didn't know how to approach it right, they weren't trained and coached on how to do it, or they get absorbed into the institution because they are tempted. That's the trope, right? You go in to Washington bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to make a difference, and then you become a swamp creature as you make compromise after compromise to achieve your political objectives. It's something that happens. You should not assume hubristically that because you are a bright young Groyper that you're totally immune to that dynamic. It's unwise. This is the nature of the criticism. If it impacts my people, I will say something about it. That doesn't mean I don't have Nick's back or don't support him where he does a good job. I said very recently that we should all be glad he was on Tucker, regardless of how we personally feel about him or whether we agree or disagree with everything he said. On net, it is a good thing when he is out there pushing the message. It's not like this is all just a favor he's doing for us. We have also reciprocally helped to raise him up. He gained his following back in the day because the Wignat types were very generous with their platforms. They wanted to let people on and say what they had to say. We celebrated Nick and cheered him on. And that was the spirit back then. It wasn't, he says he did me a huge favor because I had him on my platform. And yeah, obviously it was a boost, but also it was just a conversation. I think the fame dynamic has gotten to his head and he is a bit narcissistic. So pride goes before the fall. Honestly, if he lived in the days of Jesus, he would have called Jesus a loser because Jesus didn't gain immediate political success and a huge following. He had a big following at one point and then it diminished before the end, if you recall. So there is this disconnect in his behavior. On the one hand, he claims to care about the truth and philosophy and our race and collective well-being. On the other, he acts as though he prefers a multiracial society. He lives by choice in a multiracial city. Has he done anything to tangibly benefit a single white family? He's pushed our message, yes, but that has also helped him. That's not self sacrificial. That is his platform that allowed him to rise to where he is. So we have helped each other. He said before, what does he owe any of these other content creators? Well, I consider that I owe it to any pro-white person to at least talk with them for our greater good. That's my concept. Because I have a larger platform, that doesn't mean that I won't answer DMs or won't work with someone who's just getting started. I think that's the right way to be. And I think the way that Nick has gone about building his values in practice falls far short of what he preaches. And this is a clear example. I did virtually nothing to him. I disagreed on strategy. I think legitimate criticisms were made a couple weeks ago. And then because I DM'd him while other people were attacking him publicly, I wanted clarification. I said I wanted to defend him publicly. And he throws me under the bus and tries to get his huge following to totally, kick me to the curb and abandon any support of one of the very few pro-white initiatives out there. I am really tired of the promissory white identitarians out there who say that at some point in the future, I'm going to benefit ordinary white people. Meanwhile, they are trying to maximize their individual status, wealth, networking into their system. They're working for the enemy. They're making as much money as possible, trying to gain status as far as possible. And one day, it's all going to come back and benefit ordinary white families. I don't buy it. The world could end tomorrow. Are you today living up to your values, helping other white people while you can? Nick could help hundreds, thousands of white people by building the necessary institutions, schools, communities. He could do any of that. He has the resources, but instead, it all tends to just go back into his brand. He raised up by attacking people who had a bigger platform than him. He was ankle biting people who were bigger than him back in the day. I'm not personally attacking the guy. I had a criticism. I asked for clarification. This is totally unwarranted. He's not dead to me. I don't think he's beyond considering the immorality of his current behavior. Acknowledge you're wrong. Say we all make mistakes. And yeah, let's move on and actually circle the wagons and actually defend pro-white interests. But it has to be real. We have to build that trust in person with each other in real institutions, real organizations. When I had a stream with him, he said he would talk with someone from Patriot Front, and that was on air. And I tried to set it up. I tried to get him and Thomas Rousseau to talk. Not because I wanted Nick to totally endorse everything they're doing. That was never the concept. It was give the guy the respect to at least have a conversation, 15 minutes. Get on the phone with them. This is someone who is leading the biggest activist pro-white organization in the country, bar none. He is risking his personal well-being. He's dedicated himself to the cause. He demonstrates that every day. You can't accuse Thomas Rousseau of being self-interested. And Nick refuses to get on a 15-minute call because he has no respect for Thomas. He has no respect for me. He has no respect for other pro-white advocates if he has a larger follower count. He'll suck up to black pornographers. He'll suck up to people who do not embody Christian values if they have a bigger following. I used to say I want Nick to be president. He's not an appropriate leader for white Americans. We need our own communities. We need the white community to come together. But what he wants is a multiracial coalition to bring about political change. That's also legitimate. So we need both forks here. But now, do I want him to be president? Will I support him no matter what? He said no one should help me. Now, he's never claimed he's going to deport all the non-whites. Never. He has said that it's baked into the cake and whites will become a small minority. He just wants them to be a wealthy minority. And then one day, maybe they bounce back. But how? He has not explained. What policies will be enacted? Will it be white supremacist policies that like incentivize birth rates in the white community specifically? How could he possibly achieve that with this legal structure? I would like to see some reassurance from Nick that he does care about ordinary white people. He does want to help ordinary white people. He does respect other pro-white advocates. And then maybe we will get behind you. Right? 109 friendships end, but it's always the other guy, right? My DMs are open. You can always reach out and we can move on in a good way. But if this just passes and you don't repent of this, then we'll see. And right now, you can look down on me and say I'm nothing or I'm a loser or whatever. I'm bigger than the vast majority of people on X in terms of social media. I've built a large organization. It's scaling really, really quickly. So there might come a day when he wants to work with me, where it could benefit him to work with me. I think keeping the door open is the reasonable thing to do. Okay? Get over yourself. Have some humility. You're working for the greater good. You're working for God's will. And God will not empower you if you are putting your pride first. It's not inevitable that you come out on top. The Christian religion is based on the idea of reciprocal forgiveness. Forgive others their trespasses so that you may be forgiven. If you harden your heart and shut out people like me who basically did nothing to you other than levy good faith criticism that I thought was important for the benefit of our race, God will not deliver you the victory you're wanting. Go beyond your ego and think about what this is actually about. The door is open. So, honestly, I still love the guy. You know, it's sad to see this behavior, but I want to see him be what he can be. If he can overcome this narcissism, this egoism, if he can actually live in a way that is self-sacrificing, giving to others, then he could be a great leader, and I would absolutely support him. But if he stays on this course, then I have no choice but to oppose him. So I hope he corrects. Thanks for listening.